A bout of existential dread washed over me as I quietly sat at my gunnery controls, using the optical mount on my primary turret to get a good look at the lone star slowly absorbing its fellow. A strange bright yellow mass forming around the molten world as it slowly, inexorably, mercilessly swallows the planet. We sat quietly in our ships, in a strange aura of fear and mild panic as we sat in this backwater star system. It had only a single orange dwarf and one molten world as its celestial occupants. The star system felt so barren and empty it scared us. U.S. The greatest empire the galaxy had ever known. A mixture of both death and beauty as now with the extra mass floating around. The entire system is now enveloped in a strange, deeply disturbing orange glow. I wondered why we were here. 650 ships of the Loranian Imperium, 3 sapient species, the Ducanti, the Repitani, and the Alicant, all in one fleet carefully watching over each other. In the center of the formation were our flagships, 3 brilliantly beautiful beasts of 500-meter-length war machines, each one resplendent in gold, blue and silver as are our colors, each one carrying the equivalent firepower of a dozen battleships surrounding it. We were waiting in response to a call for first contact we had received. Expecting a fight from a hostile species, we readied our magnificent fleet for war. 3 flagships, the Empyrean Dawn, Pride of the Mother, and the Emperor's Gaze sat pretty in the center of the formation, massive gun batteries and shields waiting. I sat quietly at my bridge console, checking, rechecking, then checking again the gun I had command of to make sure it was ready. The center ship, the Pride of the Mother, was my ship, my home for the last 17 years. Above me stood our 3 war masters, Lord Giraldi of the Ducanti, General Tyrannis of the Repitani, and Master Palico of the Alicant. Lord Giraldi stood quiet and stoic as was natural for his species, eyes closed in calmed meditation as he listened to the psionic maelstrom for answers. Ducanti, quiet and calm creatures with an aptitude for science and telepathy, tall, slender creatures with blue, pink, red or purple leathery skin, dainty figures and almost haunting voices, usually clad in tight-fitting jumpsuits or loose-fitting robes and other such garb. Calmly wandering around, tapping his left hoof, was General Tyrannis of the Repitani. 8 feet tall muscle-bound beastmen with thick, short fur, cloven hooves for feet and short, thick 3-fingered hands. He wandered the deck, his hooves clopping on the steel floors as he peered out of windows and checked the integrity of our fleet. He wore his ceremonial armor, a plasma caster strapped to his back, and his hands occasionally clenching to fists. Nearby, impatiently waiting for answers, pacing around the deck, occasionally barking orders and requesting a beverage to sate his thirst, was Master Palico, the reptilian of short stature and shorter temper. 5 feet of pure muscle-bound scale-covered fury, clad in a monk robe carrying a heavy bolt cannon at his side, strode impatiently on the deck, his sharp claws clacking along the ground. Suddenly, Lord Giraldi opened his eyes and stepped forward once, his large, flat feet making no sound. "He is here." The angelic, haunting voice spoke through the din, echoing like the voice of a ghost. "Finally, they will have much explaining to do for keeping us waiting this long." Master Palico hissed with a snaky-like voice as he drank a 5th cup of flavored water. "I have to agree with him on this one. They kept us waiting. They were supposed to be here 6 hours ago." General Tyrannis said. His dark, commanding voice could scare those unfamiliar with it. Suddenly an alarm went off. "My lords, entity approaching, it has reached light acquisition range. Computer is calculating size and dimensions now." The operator next to me yelled as he typed and ticked away at his console. Before he could say more, a very large ship, very large ship, appeared in view. It was bloody huge, 5 kilometers long at least, shaped like a triangular diamond with massive engines sticking out the sides. It was 3 times the size of our flagships, and bristling with hundreds of cannons, some of which were larger than a cruiser mounted directly on top of the hull plating. One such cannon had 3 barrels, and each of those barrels could comfortably fit a corvette inside it. S size and D dimensions. 5.1 clicks in length, 1.5 clicks in width. Approximately 57,000 kilotons in weight displacement. Armament is He looked closer at his screen, unable to comprehend the readings. Armament is, for lack of a better term, everything and everything that is not everything else. Shield strength is equivalent to 75 times flagship shield strength, with immunities to kinetic, projectile, or energy weapon. Only suspected weakness is gigaton capacity plasma cannon, which we don't have. Means of traversal appears to be wormhole travel. I chimed in, getting surprised looks from my fellows. By the goddess, Lord Giraldi said, receiving looks of shock from his colleagues. All hands to stations. Master Tyrannies barked to order. Hold your fire, Master Palico ordered as he received looks of shock and concern from his fellows, even some of the crew. Pardon. Giraldi looked down at his short compatriot, genuinely shocked at the sight of his longtime friend not wanting to go face-punch something. Are you okay? Who are you and what have you done with the Lord Warmaster? Giraldi said, looking at his friend with concern. Yes, I am perfectly fine. Well enough, in fact, I can very clearly see that whatever creature built that thing vastly outclasses us, outguns us, outmaneuvers us, and out-everythings us. We fire one shot, the entire fleet will be a space smear inside 30 seconds. Hold your fire, he commanded. The entire fleet obeyed. My lord, we are receiving a hail on a public channel. It appears to be a video call. Shall I put it through? A communications officer on the other side of the command pit said as he stood up with a salute. With all due haste, Tyrannies commanded, and was obeyed, returning to his place in the bridge center to receive the call. A large monitor appeared out of the ceiling and with grinding and cranking noises stopped in front of the three commanders. An image appeared on the screen. Most who could see the screen were somewhat mesmerized by the image. We had seen them before in reels of educational footage in gunnery training and exploratory manuals. It was a human, front-facing eyes of a merciless predator, flabby short face with those haunting big round eyes, a small tuft of fur or hair atop his head and two long arms with 5 fingers, comfortably sitting in a chair that had various tubes and wires attached to it. A human, I said quietly to myself. The guy sitting next to me heard this and looked up, his mouth suddenly agape at the sight. This is Lord General Palico of the Loranian Imperium. State your business. He looked at us, blinking his eyelids, and his mouth was moving as if he was in the middle of eating. I could see those teeth. And yes, Predator's teeth indeed. Sent a shiver through me. He moved around with one arm and retrieved a data pad. He looked at the pad, then at us. Then the pad, then again us. He started doing something. Then a bubble of a strange rubbery material appeared out of his mouth, made a loud pop, then returned into his maw. He spoke perfectly, as if he had spoken Loranian all his life. Concordia Courier Package Delivery Service. I have multiple packages for delivery. My call sign for this operation is Riot Fox 44, and I shall be your operator in this exchange. He said simply, as if this was just another day on the job. I will require your physical presence to sign for and receive these packages. Please be aware that Hangar Bay X-2-7 is now available for a receiving ship of frigate size. That should be big enough to get the packages. Why must we sign in person? Giraldi spoke up, his voice stern and masterful. Oh yeah. Section. The human fumbled a bit to grab another data slate. Here it is. Ahem, in accordance with Intergalactic Trade Statuette number 74, line 3. Any and all packages in excess of total value of more than 57,000 galactic credits must be received exclusively by the intended recipient without exception. Ordinance 74 states that this direct operation is to ensure safety and security of packages and ensure that the intended recipient receives the package at any cost, and to guarantee no form of identity theft is being used to engage in unlawful or illegal activity. He looked at us, continuing to masticate his apparently unending meal. Our leaders looked at each other, as if completely gobsmacked by the circumstances. All 3 of us? Palico asked, his brow raised. Packages are as follows. 5 packages for 1 Warmaster Palico, 7 for Warmaster Giraldi, 3 for Warmaster Tyrannies, and one large package marked for all three of you. He blew another bubble, making it pop again. Shipmaster, send for the tribulation. It has the largest cargo space. Tell it to dock and ferry us over. Lord Tyrannes stated and began to walk towards the docking port. Just wait near the hangar bay park so you are side on. The autodock system will handle the rest. I will be waiting. Please don't dawdle. I'm on a tight schedule, he said, smiled and closed the call.
Rendisi.
I heard my name and snapped up to a salute. My lord, it was Master Giraldi. You are the best gunman on this ship. I will need you there. Head to the docking port and bring your rifle. Yes, my lord. I obeyed without question and let a fellow take my seat. The trip was uneventful, save the approach to the staggeringly large vessel that now loomed in the system. It dwarfed the flagship and made our tiny 120-meter frigate look like a speck of dust. This is tribulation on approach. We are nearing docking bay. Our ship's pilot had gotten onto the local frequency and was using it to assist in docking. Copy that, tribulation. I have you on visual. Move to Vector 120-322 and disable engines. Be aware, as a sign of trust, our shield arrays have been taken offline. Be ready to dock. The reply came. Before long we were at the side of the massive beast as its hangar doors quickly opened, revealing a gaping maw large enough to fit 3 cruisers. A massive, gigantic mechanical arm appeared out of the hangar and reached out to us. Then, with a loud thud, clamped on. Within seconds our engines were offline and we were essentially carried into the ship. The hangar was protected by a force field that we easily slipped through. The sight inside was nothing short of bewildering. Inside this hangar, along with thousands of boxes, crates, packages, and cargo containers of every conceivable size and shape, was a single massive ship, easily 300 meters long, casually just hanging from the ceiling. It was just as heavily armed as its parent ship for its size, and appeared to be capable of entering planetary atmospheres. The technology that had to go into this. By the goddess, what kind of civilization needs this level of size and firepower? The gigantic claw hand that picked us out of space and dragged us in here stopped with a loud thud, and hoisted us up above the ground towards a strange mechanism. Please hold. Scan for structural or mechanical failures are in progress. Atmospherics are being regulated for interspecies exchange. 1,000 separate scanning devices, welding, grinding, or other such machines mounted on huge or spindly mechanical limbs darted all around the tribulation, completing a task that would take us weeks to finish in barely 60 seconds. All clear. Docking procedure complete. Please disembark to proceed. The human spoke and lowered the ship to the floor of the hangar where a set of stairs and other devices were placed to allow us to move around and exit the ship. I took point, my pulse rifle in hand, as I was the first to set foot outside. I was barely able to comprehend the staggering fucking size of this place. He stood next to a series of cargo boxes and containers, each covered by a tarp of synthetic fabrics. I stood guard, as I was supposed to, as my war masters descended the stairs. Neither we nor anyone knew what to really make of all this. This place was fucking massive. The tech and effort involved must have been beyond imagining. MMMHHOK, the human said, stretching himself out. For War Master Giraldi, this one, that one, and those 4 there. He pointed to 7 small, but secured boxes, each one with a coded lock on them. He handed a data pad to Giraldi. Print full name here, signature here, signature over there, and initials here, he said as he pointed to 4 spots on the data pad. For War Master Tyrannes, those 2 there and that one. He pointed to 3 packages, a large cargo container and 2 small boxes of wood-like material. And for War Master Palico, those 3 there. Sign as directed, please. He uncovered a large crate and 2 smaller crates, one of which was code-locked. And lastly 1 small package for one.
Rendisi?
Is that how you pronounce it? He said, looking straight at me. R right here. I am Rendisi. Goddess, was I nervous? I had been in battles before, but by the goddess, this situation terrified me. Sign here, and initial here, he said with a smile as he handed me a data pad and a small long silver case, again code locked. I signed as ordered and handed him back his datapad. He gave us all small computerized devices no bigger than a finger. Here you are, these are for your records. Data sticks, they just have a copy of the transport record and signatures. Thank you, I said, seeing what the device was. Okay, let me see. Code lock procedures Where did I put that damn TH? Thought it was there. He ruffled through his pockets and picked up a device that beeped from a pack or carrying case made of fabric he carried on his back and pushed buttons on it. Simultaneously, all of the locked cases we were given opened. And only ours. In the case I was given was a pulse rifle just like my previous one, only this one was ornate, gilded, every single part ND component handmade and expertly customized. Wow, that was all I could manage. Everyone went through their gifts. Focusing crystals of unrivaled quality, data slates and codexes documenting the species of every galaxy, records of civilizations with millions of hours of video and movie collections from every culture imaginable, records of archaeological digs, readings of anomalous items or planets, coordinates to paradise worlds and possible sapient species and reports on exogalactic threats, past, present, or future. I had been given a custom pulse rifle, my leaders had been given the keys to the galaxy. Oh yeah, I nearly forgot. One SEC please. Where is H? There it is. He pushed some more buttons and a new box appeared. He opened it and handed us a small portable computer device with a built-in monitor that flipped open. This laptop here can directly connect you to our purchasing catalog. Any device, any service, any goods, anything, anytime, anywhere. You want it, buy it, sell it, trade it, using that terminal right there. We're not just couriers. We're a full-on sales house too. Anything you could ask for, within the bounds of laws and regulations of course, you want it, we sell it. Oh? Really? Say, I wanted to buy that ship right there. I can trade resources and buy it. I asked him as my leaders began to browse the catalog. Yup, pretty much. The ship up there is essentially being used for spare parts right now and can't really fly, but here, let me show you. He moved over and pushed a few buttons on the laptop. The ship catalog showed up. Please note that Concordia Couriers ships cannot be purchased or sold by anyone for any reason through us or by us. We will never ever give you our tech. If someone tells you they are selling our tech, they are lying, and you should shoot them. The ships available have been assembled through means of basic technology cataloging across thousands of civilizations and are essentially bare-bones shells for you to change or modify as needed. They are there merely as a standardized design template to assist in expansion, or otherwise for emergencies. That's why they are, in fact, cheap as dirt. We marveled for a while. We just browsed and browsed and browsed. There were billions of items, some of which we never even knew existed or could exist available for purchase, with some items of course having prices closer to extortion or robbery. Considering these products were things like portable black hole launcher or ecological terraforming accelerators, I have to say I was not surprised. I had one burning question. So, once we purchase something, we can do whatever we want with it, including reverse engineer it to make our own. Yep. Commercial trade licenses and public visibility laws all say yes. Anything we sell is considered in the public common and may be traded and used freely by the public for any reason. Any product you don't want getting out, you can simply put a copyright order on it and nobody will be allowed or even able to reverse engineer it. He said, giving us a datapad with a copyright licensing agreement. I thought for a few moments. A thought crossed my mind. We have a problem with each of our homeworlds, a specific issue with mining a very rare resource we need to create our ship hulls. We have plenty of it, but the process of actually mining and processing it is stupidly hard. Have any solutions for sale? My lords looked at me, shocked by my audacity. Yep. Need a sample of material and I can point you in the right direction. Oh, that's easy. Just scan the hull of the tribulation. I replied, pointing at the front end of the frigate. No sooner had I said this, a beam of energy began to sweep over the ship's nose. Oh, I see, tungsten and chromium alloy. Oh yeah, I know that material well, most of the ships we prefab are made of that stuff. It's easy. Here, he said, taking the laptop and putting in a query. There. That one. That should suit your needs nicely. I have 10 of them in stock right now actually. What does it do? It looks complex and big. Master Palico spoke up, looking at the offered device. It is a mobile refining platform, around the size of a small 3-story building, controlled by one pilot that uses a plasma-based mining laser to strip ore and valuable materials directly from any target. An on-board refinery and mobility system allows to refine materials direct from the ground it just mined, and with only a 5.8% loss of mineral wealth. Considering normal refining processes lose up to 30% of resources during mining, with pollutants as a side, it's one of the best mining units we've ever built. Expensive and protected by a copyright device, he said and showed us a readout of its specs. What exactly does this copyright device do? Master Palico asked, his brow raised. Well, if you attempt to tamper with it or change it or try to reverse engineer it, the copy protection device will cause a small cascade wormhole to appear and crush the device into a tiny ball the size of a small insect. You can engage in repairs and maintenance, but if you tamper with the device in an illegal manner, it will squish itself into a tiny ball of metal. He replied, supplying small token from his pocket to allow us to scale the size. Ah, well, that's reassuring. War Master Tyrannes finally spoke up from his gobsmacked state. It's okay, the user manual each one comes with tells you what you can or cannot do, and each machine has a warranty. If it breaks before its warranty expires, we will automatically send you a brand new one and retrieve the old one for recycling, for no additional charge. He beamed a smile at us and waited for a response. How much is one of our cruisers worth? Master Giraldi spoke up. The others, even I, stood shocked at the sheer concept of this. Let me do a scan. Section, he pushed some buttons on a console nearby and shortly after produced a reading. He returned to us. 47 million credits. That's some prime choice work that ship has. The craftsmanship alone is worth a fortune. You people really know how to build them. Nowhere near Concordia tech by 1,000 miles, but damn, still gorgeous. His statement filled us with a bit of pride. In spite of his more than obvious superiority over our tech and ships in every aspect, he still gave us a modicum of respect for our hard-earned achievements. That's very generous. Will that cruiser pay for these mining machines? 44 million is a lot of money. It would leave you with a considerable leftover. Those machines, all 10, will set you back about 4 mil. The rest is just credit to your next purchase. And like I said, anything and everything you see there is something you can purchase. We looked at each other for a short moment. Is there a catalog of sapient species in the galaxy? He looked at us with suspicion, and the atmosphere in the room suddenly thickened, enough to cut it with a blunt knife. Yes, but I shall make something simple. Have you ever heard of the Ventrigii? No, we replied in unison. That's because I gave them that codex and they used it to invade someone to enslave them. I found them and retaliated by cybernetically enslaving all of their children and broodmates, and systematically exterminated the rest by simply firing black hole cannons at their planets. By the gods! It was then we noticed one of the drones buzzing around, offloading or reorganizing cargo. A closer look let us see it had the face of an alien creature on its front plate, and half of it was made of a composite polymer alloy and the other half was that of a sickly pulsating mass of what the creature once was. We all collectively swallowed a saliva buildup out of terror. You are welcome to the Codex, he said, handing us a very thick-looking data book. But care to recall my wrath should you dare use it in tyranny or anger, just because you are a drone or slave doesn't mean I can't still make you scream. His last word was dark, his tone of voice shifted, and just then we saw that very drone stop in its tracks, twitch like it was in pain, and we could distinctly hear a low groan of unimaginable agonizing grief emanate from it. It was distinctly not of mechanical nature. We all nodded nervously. Suddenly he perked up, resumed smiling and carried on as we stared at each other nervously. We browsed a bit more, coming to the conclusion the deal was worth it, and handed over one of our medium-sized cruisers and created an account with him to keep track of our trade negotiations. The courier disembarked after all negotiations had finished, and his massive ship vanished from the star system. We returned to our flagship. I was standing behind the Lord Warmaster Palico, who was browsing the species index, looking for potential trade partners or allies. Oh, look at this, brothers. A star system barely a light year from here. A very short jump. The codex says it has sapients inhabiting the third planet. He exclaimed excitedly as he called the other two closer. Really? Does it say who or what species? Maybe we have heard of them before. General Tyrannis said. Yes, one moment. Here it is. Third rock from the sun? Planet called Earth. Wait, this is the home world of the humans. A sudden burst of excitement ran through the fleet at the prospect of meeting a species that had eluded the galactic community for centuries. A species of gifted sentience with unparalleled combat abilities, incredible intellect, and a will to survive never seen in the rest of the galaxy. A species, a now extinct race of aliens known as Greys, had been studying for millennia, was now finally found, and could join us in their rightful places alongside us. Lord Giraldi to all ships. Prepare for star jump. Coordinates incoming. Let's make some new friends.